Okay, so I was basically just having my usual walk in the morning, and it just occurred to me that I think a lot of people really we talk about routines as such. So be it maybe waking up in the morning and then heading for a walk, or probably just doing something simple like journaling. So it could be probably one of these, which is a bullet journal, or maybe use any notepad, or maybe even use digital tools as such. So the whole thing is that most of us really know about routines as a thing, and that maybe, for example, routines are a combination of multiple habits essentially, because the whole goal is to naturally repeat those things either based on the same time every day or based on some prior activity that's done. So, for instance, if I am journaling, I know that I can have breakfast after journaling. So it's not necessarily that I have to journal at this time and have breakfast at this time, but journal for 15 minutes and have breakfast for like half an hour. But all I know for sure is that once I journal, I will be heading into breakfast. So that itself becomes a routine as such, because there are two habits that are coming together and I'm doing that on a repeated basis. But I think what no one really talks about as much, and that I've been learning over the past couple of weeks over watching different videos as such, I think is the power of having structured things or routines, not just in the morning frame or night frame, like getting to bed, a routine for bedtime and stuff, but more of a understanding your energy levels and then accordingly planning and fixing events for your day. So very basic example that I've been trying to do is that while I journal my stuff down every morning and every night, I have like a habit of journaling and writing down stuff that way. And I also practically that's about it for my notebook. But and most of my day follows through a calendar. But the whole thing is through a calendar I am able to track where my time is going and how I'm actually feeling about doing those things. If I'm doing, for example, maybe journaling at 9 o'clock in the morning, I know that that is setting me up for a better sort of mind frame to take on more things in the day, because I know I've gotten everything from my mind and on paper. And but at the same time, there's also another element to it, in the sense that when you know that you can't get a lot of say maybe the morning hours is when you're super productive, you're able to do multiple things that require just your focus, and you can really do them well. So knowing that would just mean that you would have sort of a routine or habit in place, which would also make it easier for you to say no to the other things, which I think is a bigger part to it. And I think sort of what bullet journal also does, which is understanding the real purpose behind what you're doing and not just doing it for the sake of it, which most of the digital world actually is, unfortunately, because it doesn't give us time to think, write, rewrite, and stuff. But once you know your hours, when you're best, what you actually feel like doing at that time of the day, it's a lot more easier to respect that, and at the same time to say no to other events that might come up. For example, saying no to a meeting in the morning hours because I know I won't be able to get my other work done later in the day, and then I know that post 12 p.m. my entire sort of afternoon is usually free for meetups and for either recovering and preparing for maybe an evening sort of work, or just having some other session in place, maybe learning and so on. But just basically, I'm much more better off in my cognitive way doing creative stuff in the morning and in the evening rather. So I think the whole thing is the takeaway that I would say from this particular sort of video would be to figure out the the time spans. Maybe you can journal, you can add a calendar, whatever it is, but try to figure out the hours of the day when you're your best version in terms of your work, in terms of other things as well. And eventually you'll have a record of the activities you like to do at different parts of times of the day, and accordingly you'll be able to structure a better routine that's less forceful and more in accordance with what you actually want to be doing. Because I think that's another mistake that a lot of people make, and I've done that quite a lot over the last couple of weeks, fine tuning a bit, but essentially it's more about how you're actually trying to understand your body and develop habits, routines that will help it and not go against it in that sense to a certain extent. These habits do take time to develop, but if you can do everything you can to make it easier for your body and for your mind to understand and develop that, it becomes a lot more easier to implement that, to look forward to that, and to eventually keep it as a habit. So I hope that helps, and see you until next.